was one, the people who are currently employed by Kenya Pipeline, whether they will be affected in any way. And the CS has been able to confirm that not only will they not be affected, but as a matter of fact, there will be more employment opportunities that will be able to come in. Two, there is going to be a report from Price Waterhouse Cooper that is going to be shared to the local leadership to be able to indicate that actually this procedure was the right way, the transfer of shares. This is going to be shared to the local leadership, and engagement can continue to continue even further. But as well, that will be able to give a balance sheet of what is the value of the assets that are currently not being utilized and why this effect is going to be better. The issues that the leaders were able to raise as well is in terms of job opportunities. When the master plan is ready, the jobs, we want these jobs, the people of Mombasa to be able to benefit from these opportunities, and equally the people of Mombasa to be able to benefit from the CSRs that are going to be coming in. Over and above, as a county government of Mombasa, I can confirm that we have worked with Kenya Pipeline for Port Rees Hospital. However, we feel that the magnitude can be way larger. The other part that we have agreed on is on matters urban planning, where the county government of Mombasa will give written delegated powers to the engineers at Kenya Pipeline, so that when it comes to matters of approval, we'll allow them to be able to approve to remove all these bottlenecks. However, urban planning will be included, so that in our planning, when we are now planning the whole of Mombasa, we can now not have a problem where there's going to be an oil pipeline is crisscrossing where there's water pipeline. And it has been something that has been a nightmare in the past. Right now, you're all aware, even when they were doing Kibarani, we had a problem where the road took so long because no one knew what is passing where. As a custodian of urban planning, we will be in charge of that. The other thing that we have also been able to agree is when the master plan for the whole of the new Kenya petroleum refineries, which is now going to be under Kenya Pipeline Corporation, once it is going to be done, the whole master plan is going to include social amenities as well. That means where it is possible to have a school or a hospital or anything else, because this is lying on about 300 acres, and most important as well on matters of safety and so forth.
Together on what we are doing, understand what we need to do together to improve the utilization of KPRL asset. KPRL, you'll recall, our refinery that was closed down sometimes in 2014 because of challenges of what we call yield shift. The product that we were refining was not matching what the output that was planned, and therefore it wasn't really making profits. And it's been a while, and there is no reason why KPRL is not working for us as a prime asset sitting with 370 acres and touching the port of the waters of the Indian Ocean. And so what Cabinet did last month on 18th, this month on 18th, July 18th, was approved the acquisition of KPRL by Kenya Pipeline Corporation through transfer of shares, acquisition by transfer of shares, which is basically like saying one government, fully owned government parastatal takes ownership of another parastatal because they do the same business. And so KPC, Kenya Pipeline Corporation, comes into KPRL with a very strong balance sheet, Your Excellency, of about 150 billion shillings. And with a strong company coming in to take KPRL, we can be able to see once again activities of what KPRL should be in terms of generating economy of, or rather recreating the economy in Mombasa, creating employment, telling us whether they are going to go the refinery way, whether storage, and bring other investors, because an asset of 370 acres is such a big asset. And so we'll be working with the government, the county government of Mombasa, to revamp KPRL assets to work for the people of Mombasa County, to work for the people of this country, to work for the region, because we are internationally situated to be able to serve Uganda, serve Rwanda, and even play a competitive advantage against our neighbors in Dar es Salaam. So that's what we'll be doing going forward, to basically move the assets to KPC. Nobody's losing jobs. We had, like Governor said again, we had PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, doing a study to confirm which was the best acquisition option. And we've zeroed in on the acquisition by transfer of shares as opposed to transfer of business. That would have many challenges. So following the due process, these are government assets moving to another government, to ensure the issues of stamp duty, the issues of staff, the issues of the due process is followed to the letter. And then so I want to thank Governor and the leadership of Mombasa for the engagement this morning. We'll be talking to the staff of KPRL to assure them that they are in safer hands. They have, however, been working with KPC through a lease agreement where KPC has been using the tank farms. They have rehabilitated most of those tank farms, and they are being used today by Kenya Pipeline Corporation. Why do we need KPC to leverage on the asset of KPRL? The leadership today would like to accelerate the use of LPG gas as a transitional fuel to mitigate the challenges of climate change. Kenya will be hosting Africa Climate Change Summit next week with leadership in excess of more than 30 presidents coming into our country. And some of the quick wins for us would be really to look at how do we accelerate the pushing of LPG to the economy and reduce the use of fuel, wood fuel, or what you call biomass. We are cutting our forest to fire our cooking in the kitchens with the pollution. You know, our homes, they are not very well ventilated from where we live in the village. And yet our mothers, our sisters cook in those huts with smoke because of incomplete compassion, because sometimes we are also burning wood which is not dry. But more importantly, vegetation is very good carbon sink, and we are really exacerbating and temperature rising because we are cutting the good carbon sink in our forest. So the government has made a deliberate policy to grow the use of LPG from the current about 7 kilograms of LPG per household, per capita, to about 15 in the next 3, 4, 5 years. And that will be a growth area. We'll need extra facilities to be able to do that. We need to take advantage of being a bunkering facility in the region, and working with this kind of balance sheet from Kenya Pipeline Corporation will be one thing that can leverage and ensure that our youth from this county do get opportunities of employment. I want to stop there. We've had a good meeting. Thank you, Governor, and thank you, the leadership of Mombasa, for receiving us. I'll be addressing the staff of KPRL shortly.